Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh with Gene Collier. Gene, before we take some phone calls, what do you think about this whole NCAA FBI?
Can't believe it, Richie. I'm really. Fraud in college basketball. And see, now you're just being silly. I just don't believe it for a
Four
second.
assistant coaches, Arizona, USC, Oklahoma State, Auburn, a couple Adidas execs, a couple other people involved. As of right now, it's ongoing. More people are probably going to fall for this. The University of Louisville mentioned now. Rick Pitino said he knew nothing about it. You know, everyone knows that there's cheating in college basketball,
Yes.
and it seems to be like the worst kept secret, who's cheating and who's not. And now the FBI is involved, and you know, I think this is going to change the whole landscape. People are going to get fired, and what I always like to compare these kind of scandals to the movie A Few Good Men. I know you've never seen it, but I'm sure a lot of people out there watched the movie. And, you know, who ordered the code red? It always comes from the top. And for these coaches to say they don't know anything about it and have no knowledge about it, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Everything has to go through them, just like Penn State and Paterno. Everyone at the top, or the guy that's in charge, usually knows about what's going on and why he's getting certain recruits.
Well, I agree with all of that, except for the fact that this will change the landscape of college basketball. This will change nothing because it never changes. I mean, college basketball has been a sewer since 1983 or before. There are always reforms. There are always new rules written. There are always better PR methods to explain what they're doing, but it's a sewer, and it always has been and always will be.
Do you think it's because of like all the AAU programs and guys that are?
There are so many reasons. It can't be fixed because there are so many programs out there. What are there? 300 programs playing Division I college basketball, and every single one of them is 1 or 2 players away from cashing in a tournament that now includes 65 teams. You can't do that in football. You can't change your entire future, but with 1 or 2 players. But you can in basketball, and they'll do anything to get that 1 or 2 players. Anything.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to. Let's start with Jamie in Sewickley. How you doing, Jamie?
Evening, Rick. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Hey, I want to talk about McCutcheon.
Okay.
I can't believe he had a wonderful game tonight.
Yeah, he definitely did. Thanks for your call, Gene. I mean, maybe I would say his best game in a Pirates uniform. First career high in RBIs with 8. First grand slam, 4 for 4, 4 runs scored. He was a triple away from the cycle, and almost his second home run. He had 2 home runs. The second home run almost hit inches away from hitting off the top of the wall, which he would have got his triple.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to him. Great performance. I don't know where it ranks in his all-time games. It is September 26th, so it's, you know.
He needed to do this a month and a half ago.
There's that, yeah.
And, you know, do you think, I know it's one game, but maybe one of the final 2 games at home, final games of the season. Does this put any pressure on the Pirates into the offseason?
No more than prior to today. I mean, in my view, they have to sign him. If they don't sign him, who's going to buy a season ticket?
I think you make a good point right there. All right, Big D just tweeted me. Obviously, the locker room unity thing blew up. Why did no one that stands strong join Al? They could have easily walked 20 feet. Al tried to explain that yesterday. Thanks, Big D, for your tweet. That, you know, the flag and the pregame ceremonies kind of screwed everything up, and no one wanted to move during the anthem. But I kind of agree with Big D here. You know, guys could have came up and joined him if they wanted to.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't in Chicago, and so, you know, I probably shouldn't speculate. I mean, I thought the Steelers all agreed they weren't going to do that. Al did it, and then apologized for it. I don't think it's his fault. I don't think he has anything to apologize for. I just think it was a mix-up, and I don't think really anybody should be blamed for it. I don't think anybody did anything wrong.
Your opinion, do you think the Steelers made the right move? Do you agree, disagree? Do you think they, what would you?
As I said, I respect what Mike Tomlin did. He tried to bring the Steelers above the political aspect of this. And I respect that effort. I'm not saying it was necessarily the right thing to do, and they just kind of didn't execute it properly, but I respect what he was trying to do.
All right, back out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to Lewis in Brookline. Lewis, how you doing?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Thanks for calling.
My comment is I don't ever recall the national anthem being actually televised during the game.
You know, Lewis, you bring up a good point, and this is where you have to put some of this onto maybe the networks. They just really started televising the national anthem last year, right? When this whole thing started happening, and Colin Kaepernick was doing what he was doing. That's when they started televising.
No, I mean, Whitney Houston sang a pretty famous. I mean, this isn't a new.
I'm saying on a regular basis. Now everyone's televising the national anthem. Before, they would pick and choose when they televised it, or they didn't televise the whole thing, and they would come back after the anthem was over. I remember a lot of networks took breaks during the anthem.
Yeah, it's been all over the place. You know, a lot of networks regard the national anthem as kind of a downtime. You know, they can't sell anything during it. So, I mean, the history of it's been all over the place. But it was televised Sunday, obviously.
All right, back out to the phone lines. We're going to go out to Bob in Indiana. How you doing, Bob?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, gentlemen.
Yep.
Hey, I think, you know, when Thomas said about having the team stick together and whatever they did, you know, he's a part of the team and so is the coaches. And when he went out with the coaches on the field and left the team in the hall or wherever he left them, you know, he kind of stood them up and hung them out to dry. He should have been with them as a team. And I think when Villanova did what he did, Tomlin looked bad, and I think Tomlin chewed him out, and that's why Villanova come out. And that's my opinion. A lot of other people's opinion.
Yeah, well,
you know
you're
what?
all wrong about that.
You know, Bob, I don't know what happened there because Villanueva came out, and maybe some people said he fell on the sword. Some people believe what he said. But Tomlin came out publicly and said that he doesn't blame or fault Villanueva at all today.
I don't know why. I don't disbelieve anything any of them said. I don't know why. Why is there this search for blame on this? I don't understand it. I just don't.
All right, we're going to take a break. Back with more phone calls and a couple more tweets. See you in 2 minutes.